Dancing. Who doesn't love to dance? But not when it comes to car sales. That's a dance you want to avoid. Today, we're going to review all the secrets and the right steps to take. It's going to help you tango your way into savings. Stay tuned. Oh, that song and dance we've all heard about. Buying a car at a dealership. Oh my. Well, I wrote a whole chapter on it in my book. And it frustrates me so much that we still, now in 2024, play this silly little game of this song and dance. And it starts very simple. The ad says, hey, come on down. We've got this unit number for X amount of dollars. Let's just throw a number out there and say $23.99. And you show up. You say, here I am. I'm ready to buy it. You just opened it, 7:30 a.m. And this is your opening hour. I'm here. I'm the first. I want to see that car. Sorry, sir. It's already sold. What do you mean it's already sold? Yeah, somebody bought it online. That right there is trigger warning. That's the game they played. They got you on the lot. You're there already, aren't you? So you think to yourself, I drove 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of my way to come to this particular dealership to buy this one unit that happens to be for $23.99. And it's already sold at 7:30 a.m. Wow. Really? That's the game? Yeah. So what did they tell you? Sir, we apologize. But you know what? We have just as nice units that you can look at, or possibly even better. Come walk with me. Let me show you. Walk the lot with me. And then they take you and show you other units that happen to be $5,000 or $6,000 or $8,000, maybe even $10,000 more. But then they say, we've got a great deal. Let's go inside. Let's negotiate. So you go in and the first thing they do is run your credit. Bad idea. Don't do that. You know your credit. You should know your credit before you go in. So when you go in, you sit down and you tell them, no need to run my credit. I already know what I can afford and what I'm able to purchase. However, what I want to know is, how much is this car? Oh, sir, we'll get you to what you want to be. Where do you want to be a month? And most people fall for that trick and they go, well, I'd like to be at $350 a month. Wrong. Because they can give you $350 a month, but they don't tell you they gave you an 84-month loan. Dear God, you want to be in an 84-month loan on a $30,000 car? It's going to take you forever, and you're going to be upside down by the time you're done paying it off. So that's a bad idea. So you want to say, no, I want a 3-year or 2-year or at the most 4-year term. Let's discuss and negotiate what my monthly fees are going to be. Then they play, well, I need to talk to my manager. And this is where the jazz festival begins, of the waltz and the Zumba and the Chamba and all these other dance names that you want to think about. They start by saying, let me go talk to my manager. I'll be right back. They didn't talk to anybody. They just walked in, took a sip of coffee, and came right back out. Remember that. Then they say, I talked to my manager. He says I can get you to $375 a month. I know you want to be at $350, but we're only $25 away. And this is where the first closing game starts. It's called breaking it down to the ridiculous. That's right, to the ridiculous. So it starts off by saying, sir, do you eat pizza? Yeah, of course, I love pizza. Well, how many pizzas a month do you eat? Any normal person would think and go, I don't know, 5, maybe 6. What's an average pizza cost you, sir? With the kids and 2, 3 of them, I don't know, $50. Okay, so all you need to do is cut down on 2 pizzas a month, and you could buy this car because I'm only $50 off. And you think to yourself, yeah, that makes sense. Plus, he says to you, pizza's not good for you anyway. It's fattening. You'll lose weight. So you're not only going to save money, but you're going to lose weight. See how good I am as a salesman? I care about you. That's called breaking it down to the ridiculous. Let's pretend you don't fall for that. You say, no, 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 I don't care about that. They go, oh, you know what? Let me see what I can do. And then they do what's called the Columbo close. Most of you that are young won't know there was a TV show called Columbo. And basically, literally, he would leave the room knowing fully how to catch the murderer. Then he would stop and play dumb and go, you know, I think I was, and he would bring up something else that doesn't make sense. And that's the Columbo close. So they would go in and say, well, let me go talk to my manager. And then they would come back and do the Columbo and go, you know, I don't think we have that in the yellow you're looking for. All of a sudden, it's a curveball. You're like, well, that's the one I wanted. Well, if I found you a brown one or a white one, it might be a little bit more. You already are upped by a little bit more by changing the color, and that's the Columbo close. So they switched it on you by throwing you off your game, by telling you, we don't have the yellow, we have the brown. But it's going to be a little more, and you go, oh, you know what? It's okay. That's fine. And now all of a sudden, they bumped you to where you need to be. Now calls the takeaway close. The takeaway close is if you don't fall for the ridiculous, you don't fall for the Columbo, the takeaway is they negotiate with you, they get down to the nitty gritty, and you're ready to sign, and they go, you know what? My manager says, I'm sorry. Not going to happen. We can't do it. You might want to go to another dealership. And that's called the takeaway. Now what they did was they insult you by saying, it's obvious you can't afford it. So, you know, why don't you just go find another dealership? Maybe they'll give you a better deal. Any normal person would be like, wait a minute, what's he saying? I can afford it. I was just trying to negotiate. But that's not mentioned. They don't speak about that. But it's an unspoken insult that makes you think, well, no, hold on a second. Maybe I can buy this, but what are we talking about? Like, you know, you said 400, that's the best you can't do 350? No, I can't. Like I said, I just, you know, it's okay. Just go to another dealership. If you can't find anything in a couple months, come back, we'll see what we can do. All of a sudden, your self-esteem and your conscience says, I'm not going to let this young man insult me like that. I can afford it. We're only talking about $50. And you say to yourself, wow, I'm being ridiculous for just $50. You know what? That's fine. I'll do 400. And then when they get to that 400, all of a sudden you're in the back office, extended warranty, protection plan, paint plan, and all of a sudden it goes to 500. And you've been there 6, 7, 8 hours. And you're ready to give up. You got the white flag up saying, I just want to go home. And you think to yourself, how do I walk away from this? I can, but I've vested too much. And your subconscious says, well, I'm only $50 or $75 off, not a big deal. So you take the path of least resistance and you kind of say, well, I'm not going to embarrass myself or my wife or my girlfriend. I'm just going to say yes. And you give up and you sign away, and they won. They wore you down and wrung you out like a sponge. That's the song and dance they play. The secret to buying a car from a dealership, many manufacturers already work with different variety of corporations, such as Costco has a car buying program. AAA has a car buying program. Most credit unions have a car buying program. What does that mean? Well, you basically call Costco, AAA, or your credit union and say, I'm thinking about buying a car. Simple question. What do you want to pay? Not your monthly payments. What do you want to pay for the car? 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand. Got it. Do you have your own financing? No. Well, get your own financing, or we have our own. This is the best interest rate. And then they literally show you this vehicle is $39,999. We're selling it to you at $500 to $800 or $1,000 over sticker. And that's the best we can do. Here's our business card. You're interested? Fine. We're not playing the game. We're not dancing. Go away. Now you know, okay, this is legit. He's not giving me the compliments of, you've got such a nice jacket, or he's not giving you the compliment of, oh, wow, you know, you look beautiful today, or whatever it is that try and charm you into negotiations. So basically, make sure you know how to buy before you go into the dealership. And lastly, let me explain what buying is. Buying is about sensibility and functionality. So if you're by yourself and you buy an 8-passenger Suburban and you never go four-wheeling, why in the name of you know what did you buy an 8-passenger vehicle that's got a 4x4? Why? Because you want people to see what you're driving? Here's a little secret. Nobody cares. When you're in that car, whether it's a Ferrari or a high-end vehicle or a little dinky little Corolla, When you're at that stoplight, the car to your left, to your right, to your front, to your back doesn't care. They're focused on them and them only. They don't know you. What you're feeding is your self-vanity. You're saying to yourself, I want this car because it makes me feel good. That's great. Go for it. I'm not against it. Buy whatever you want. But shame on you if you buy it based on that and then you chime and complain to the world and your family, this car is a piece of you know what, or I can't believe I'm making this money payments, or all of a sudden the first time you're out of warranty, you're forced out of pocket to spend some money and now you can't afford it because you bought too much car based on what? Ask yourself that. Based on what? So in today's episode, I want to remind you of some points and steps that you can take. Remember, get your own financing. This way you know exactly what you can afford rather than go in and figure it out while you're on the fly. Make sure that you look into third-party buying companies such as Costco, AAA, or credit union. This way there's no negotiating. Just walk in, buy what you want, you're out of there in 45 minutes. And lastly, and most importantly, make sure that you audit yourself and say, who will be in the car with me? Me, my kids, my dog, or just by myself? Do I need an 8-passenger car? Do I go four-wheeling? And do I need a twin turbo when I'm living in a neighborhood that only does 25 miles an hour and a gated community that has speed bumps every 3 feet? No. Make sure you understand those points, and I promise you'll own your car much, much better.